Ready.
This is Pod With Me. On today's show, we're going to talk to someone very special, someone that grew up in a dysfunctional family. And guys, bear with us with the story. It's pretty difficult to listen to because you can tell the anger and hate he has within while he's telling the story. And but that's when he's thinking about, growing up and everything he felt. He's come out of it, and this is a story of survival from a dysfunctional family. Get ready, because the pod starts now.
A parent would try and talk to their kid, he'd kick me out of the house completely. I went to a trailer park. There's like barbed wires on my window, cat piss. I was thinking of suicide.
Are you ready? Let's go.
Let's go. Are you ready to pod? Let's go. Are you all ready here? Let's talk.
Are you ready to pod?
Alex J. I here.
Alex, are you ready to pod? Hey, are you all ready? We are ready. Let's get to it.
Ready.
This is Alex J. Aguirre, and you're listening to Pod With Me. Today, I have a very special guest with an incredible story, a story of survival. No, he did not go up to Mount Everest and made it to the top. It's a different type of survivor. So, we're here with Sebastian Uribe.
Yes, Sebastian Uribe, what's up? How are you doing?
How are you? How's it going?
Great, thank you for having me.
And thank you for having me on your show. He interviewed me, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he did. First person who wanted to interview me, he interviewed me.
Well, honestly, I think everything about you is just amazing. You're an amazing
All right, this is about you, Sebastian. This is about you. Let's move on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm part Colombian, part Peruvian. I'm from Miami, born and raised. And I'm 26 years old, and I like making YouTube videos.
And you like making YouTube videos, and you're very successful.
I had a lot of fans. I get fan mail, donations, 17,000 subscribers.
That's amazing, and especially for that time, because you were just starting out, and
And I had at least 2,000 dedicated like super fans. They would do anything. So whenever I streamed, they were there, and it was great.
All right. So what happened that fell apart? What was the interference there?
So imagine one of our parents. They barely understand the internet. So when I'm in my room making videos talking to myself, which it looks like, she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all, even though I tried to explain to her and I tried to show her everything. She just didn't like it. My brother didn't really cared for it, and it was something to put me down. They made it seem like
it was a time where that all was beginning, right? It was like an era where a lot of people did not understand that it's a new technology. And it's a way where you could have been so successful, and you still can, by the way, and
Thank
you
you.
are. And many people don't get to that 17,000, which is great. So you've had a very challenging childhood, and you've been through a lot of obstacles, and many people do go through obstacles. But elaborate a little bit about your obstacles, and why was it so difficult living in your household?
People need to understand the biggest obstacles is kind of like toxicity within families, right? So I come from a background where my parents are divorced, right? And that's not an excuse for toxicity, right? So the biggest obstacle, to answer your question, is dealing with family, hearing them put you down, expecting the worst of you, expecting malicious intent from you. Like, it's a very damaged mindset. It's not an abundant mindset. It is not in the energy audit spectrum. It's stuff that takes away from you. It's stuff that puts you down.
So it's a low frequency. So maybe
Incredibly.
So your mom, I assume she was not happy. She was probably going through a lot of situations, and she would take it out on you guys.
Yeah, and, she would get upset about something and then, get it out on us. Or, my brother, he has a disability, so he can't really control his emotions. There's just a lot of, you can imagine, that toxicity with someone with disability, divorce, no money, like, it's just a big mess.
You told me he has, what is it?
He has Asperger's, yes.
Okay, so what was that like, living with your brother and dealing with all that, and at that time with your mom and back and forth?
It was really hard because, at the age, I couldn't really understand too much. So he get bullied a lot. He had a unibrow. Social Asperger's, for you guys that don't know, is kind of like a social disability. Very hard to make friends, very hard to make relations. Even till now, he's only had one girlfriend his whole life, and that was in high school. He's like 28 right now. Mm-hmm. So that, to give you an idea. And, growing up was really hard because there was just things about my brother that it was just not good for me. Like, for example, this is one of them. If I got Bionicles. They're like Lego things. I'm not sure you remember them. I got the red Bionicle one time. He beat me up because I got the leader one.
He will beat you up?
Yes, he would beat me up a lot.
He's bigger than you?
Yes, of course. Yeah, he's bigger than me. And then if we play like a racing game or a fighting game, I'd always have to lose on purpose. So like if I'm winning in first place, I had to hit the brakes at the finish line, and he had to pass me, or else I get punched. And I had to be player 2, or it would be a big fit, or stuff like that. Like my brother just had very low. Again, he did have a disability, but it's very mild. I feel like it's a big excuse sometimes because I work with kids with disabilities, and I do mean disabilities. Like I've seen some stuff. Wow. And it's just a matter of being nice. He's not, even till today, he's not. He's very aggressive. So it's kind of like it has nothing really so much to do with. You got to be able to distinguish what's a disability and what's just being, an a-hole. My mother, she's not exactly, she's a great mom. She did what she could, but she's not the greatest. And she has a lot of traumas that she still hasn't resolved. That being said, she's very critical on some things that are not very critical. For example, like internet will be cut off at 9 sometimes, or 8, or like just
the internet will get cut off.
Like she literally just pulled it out just for no reason, even if it's ridiculous. But
what was the first signs that you started seeing that this is not right?
First sign was I realized my brother decided to microwave a pizza at 8:00, and my mom flipped out. She said it was quiet hours and all this, and it wasn't even that. Yeah, first time I'm like, okay, moms don't do this. She would always tell me and my brother that this isn't a hotel. Most parents, they welcome their children back home, or like the food in the closet's yours. It wasn't like that. It was more like, oh, you ate it all, replace it. It wasn't like that.
So you had to pay for anything that you would eat at the house?
Once we got to a certain age, yes.
And you had to pay rent?
Yeah, my mom never worked after she got divorced. So even till today, she spent more than 2 decades of no work. She kind of just takes advantage of the government.
Well, she doesn't have work.
She does it on purpose. She'll just kind of like finesse the system and take advantage.
And what's your relationship with at that moment in time? How was that relationship with you and your mom? And how old were you when all this started happening?
The only time I set my foot down was when I was 25, 26.
No, hold on. What was the relationship with your mom when all this was happening and that you first saw that this wasn't right? What were the things that were going on between you and her?
A parent would try and talk to their kid, right? Or try to be patient with their kid. This is an example I can come with. I'm not good at school, right? I took 4 classes. I don't even want to do school. But I just failed one class. And for something so critical, and I passed the other one, she'd kick me out of the house completely. I have to go on Craigslist, find a place to stay, sometimes sleep on floors.
And you had no other family members to go to when she would kick you out?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a time where like I'm just learning how to drive, and
about 16.
Yeah, and like our family's just kind of scattered. It's not, we barely have any family here, and we're not really connected like that. So it's a very on your own type of family, unfortunately.
All right. So the first time she kicked you out, where did you go? Tell me that experience.
Sure. I went to a trailer park. And it was like, I think it was like $450 a month or something. It was what I could afford. Literally 5 minutes away from my house. It's just in the Everglades, right? I didn't even know that place existed there. And there was like barbed wires on my window, cat piss. There was this lady had like 12, 11 cats.
So it wasn't a trailer for you on your own? You had to share with somebody?
No, I was just in a room destroyed by cats. And, the barbed wire in the window was just absolutely crushing. Like I'm trying to keep my dream of being a content creator. And it's not like I'm doing this without any fans. I have movement. I have engagement.
You didn't have the mindset at that moment because everything you were going through as being a content creator. But I would have had so much content with living in that trailer.
I was kind of scared to tell the truth, and this is the first time anyone's really hearing some of this stuff. My brother and like my close friends know, but like it's just something I don't like to talk about too much because I don't want people to feel sorry.
You go back home for the first time after you lived in the trailer. What was that experience like?
It's always amazing the first couple of days. That she misses me, and she's caring, and then kind of dies down, and then patience starts to wear. Cycle happens all over again where it's like this toxic, like she just get really moody and be snappy. Even if you're asking, hey, how's your day? Sometimes she wouldn't answer me. I was like, okay, like very emotional. There's no emotional intelligence there, and she's very scarred from her past. So like again, it would just kind of repeat. And then I have to move out, and I go on Craigslist, and I find a house across the street to live, even though my house is right. It was just ridiculous. Or sometimes I try to stay at a friend's house, but like I had to sleep in my car one time. She kicked me out at like 12. I forgot the reason. I think I forgot the trash in the trash can. Come on, you don't kick a kid out for not taking out the trash. You take away their Xbox. You don't take away their room and stuff. So I remember I had to sleep in the car one time. That was not fun. Very sweaty. I barely slept, actually. I'm never going back to that again.
All right. Of
And
course.
I lived in a retirement home too.
You lived in a retirement. And what was that like?
Horrible. I mean, every day I'd wake up and like there would be an ambulance of somebody passing away. Do you think at 20, I think I was 23, 24, like I said, this is just constant. This is throughout my whole life.
When you moved
Moving out
I'm
different
trying to
places.
find different places. When you lived in the home, you didn't make friends with any of the older people there?
I tried, but that retirement home isn't like that. They're like, everyone's just very to themselves.
Really?
Yeah, like they're not really, at least the part where we're at, Century Village, they weren't really like that. So it was, I had a girlfriend at the time too. That was very difficult. She worked in Hooters, so I guess I'll explain to you like the type of girl, very outgoing, very, just in the present, I guess. Doesn't really struggle with anything because, daddy and mom, happy family, right?
Hooters, you go, Sebastian.
Right. But she's beautiful. She's a great person. There's so much good about her. It just didn't work out. And I didn't have that much money. Again, this is my mirror. I had one. She'd still date me even though I had one light out in my car, and it's 2004. It was just that car looked like a bucket. But one time I decided, you know what, like I'm just gonna take her out to something, even though I can't take her down. I took her to yogurt, and she was just so happy. She was very sweet.
You took her to eat yogurt ice cream.
Just yogurt ice cream cost like maybe $3, $3.50, and like I remember her best friend would tell me like, is so excited because you got her yogurt, and like that's how much of a struggle I was in, and she understood it too. But
she was excited that you, knowing everything you're going through, you actually took her out to just, even if it was just ice cream, it was a big thing.
Yeah, so she was very sweet that way. But again, a lot of things didn't match up. She would want me to go like on vacation with her when I was barely paying rent. To have a girlfriend when your car is breaking down and your side mirror is being taped on because you can't afford to even pay $50 to put the side mirror back, and you're living in a retirement home with your grandma at the age of 23 while everyone else is living with their parents, buying what they want because they don't have rent to pay and they don't have a car to pay, they don't have a phone, they don't have barely any responsibilities, they don't have, right? And then here I am, I feel like I'm an immigrant, that I have nothing, no support with nothing. People are like, oh yeah, just do this, just do that. Okay, everything you see in me is me. No one has helped me. The only person I can say that's really helped me is my grandma and my grandpa.
So tell me a little bit about, after all the situation, when was the last time you lived at home? And was it that last time did you decide, I'm not coming back here?
Last time, it was around when I met that one girl I told you about earlier. It was a great time in my life. I just I don't remember too much. I think I got into an argument with my mom about how she's treating my sister or something. I don't know, something around the lines that parenting wasn't right. Because I always tell my brother, listen, you are an older brother. You need to set an example. Mm-hmm. You're my mother. You need to show more patience than me, because she'd lose her patience. And I don't remember too much. I just remember one night I was in Miami with my girl at the time, and she's like, you know what? You're gonna sleep here tonight, and you're gonna kick, and you're gonna leave. I'm like, listen, if you kick me out like this again, first of all, it's not legal to do that. By the way, it's not legal, but I didn't want to stress that, and I decided to couch surf, get some ideas, couch surf for at least, I think like a month and a half.
What is it? Couch? What?
Couch surf. You just hit up friends and sleep on their couch.
Oh, I've never heard that term. Couch surf.
Yeah, it's called.
You were couch surfing.
I was for a month and a half, and I had a girl too, and she just never really thought about it. Like, this is the type of stuff that like it wasn't the woman for me. She just never really cared to even ask me like, where are you gonna stay, or like any. She just, okay, you're couch surfing, and never really like try to talk to me like what's going on. But after I started couch surfing, I realized for my mom to do this to me constantly, I'm clearly not in a loving environment. it's time I try to make some permanent plans. So, I stayed with my grandma in little Havana, and to give them a break, because it was a tiny little place, I'd couch surf. Maybe sometimes I slept there 2 days in a row, and then I couch surf.
And what would your grandmother say? Did your grandmother have a good relationship with your mom?
No, my grandma does not have a good relationship. My grandma tries to keep the peace. Now remember, the grandma, she left my mom when she was very little. So my mom has a lot of hate for her, but my grandma has changed a lot. That was years ago. That's at least what, six decades ago? Like people make mistakes, and like my mom's just very bitter. Very bitter. Oof. She'll talk about things from like years ago. She'll never let things go.
Yeah, so she's not gonna ever see the big picture. Fortunately for you, you have seen the big picture, and you've maintained throughout all these obstacles throughout this life, and that's why I love this interview. You kept strong throughout all these years, no matter what happens, no matter how your mom treated you, no matter how your brother treated you, no matter how many times you moved out back and everything that was said to you. You are focused on a goal. You've maintained yourself, right?
Yeah.
You lived on your own, and you've done it all. You have your own car.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Paid it cash. It was only $3,500, but it's mine. I live a very essential lifestyle, and for those of you listening, minimalist, exactly, essentialist, well, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to share. Some people like to say, my friends especially, how did you not even think about killing yourself? And that's the thing. I have thought about it. Well,
yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, in the past I've thought about it. Like, can you imagine like just holidays? Every single holiday you're just lonely, and you just got to see your friends, be with their parents. Like Mother's Day is coming on this Sunday. Like it hurts a lot, and eventually you learn how to deal with the pain. Like you go do something with a family. You start adopting people. Like you, for example, I'm adopting you as a friend, and to me that's crucial for me. And,
do we have the same papers to go to court? Right?
There you go.
All right.
But anyone that's thinking there's no way out, because I was thinking of suicide as a cowardless thing, like no one deals with this family situation, no one's relating to me because I'm living in this suburban lifestyle where this isn't happening, but it's happening to me. This happens in like more low income areas,
Yeah, but it can happen, and as you can see, you're proof of it. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, what made you not kill yourself? What was the one thing that you said no? Was it because you were scared to die, or was it because you had other plans in your future?
I think the number one thing that I never really ever attempted it, just thought about it, they're just thoughts, is number one, it's incredibly selfish, for the people that do love me. I just think about like my sister. Like she had that's not, I can't do it knowing that she's still on this earth and I'm doing that. Like it just doesn't make sense. And on top of that, life is beautiful. Life is anything you want it to be. It's just about mindset, being realistic and wanting things like it's air. There's always something to work forward to strive for. And you got to find that spark. And if you don't find that spark, you got to keep searching. You don't just give up, So, and if you're going through hell, you don't stop either. Think about that. If you're going through hell, why would you stop? You just keep moving. Even if it takes a long time, you can get out. You can be somewhere better.
You're living proof. All right. So right now, what are you doing? What's your goal, and where do you see yourself?
Okay. Well, right now I'm not doing anything too hot. I'm just working any job I can. But the goal is right now is there's very few of us in our family that have careers. Even if it's only 40,000, which is like the minimum, and that's my goal. It's not a dream. I have other dreams, but I realize right now that...
What is it that you love to do the most?
I love to meet people. I love to make videos. I love networking.
What type of videos do you like to make?
Pornos, I like making videos, just anything with a good time. Like the other time I reviewed a movie. I never done that. I just like to have fun with it.
So you like video production?
I like showbiz, that's why when I see you with these Emmys and all this, like to me, I'm just like, to me, it's a big deal. Like, wow, like you're way more connected in that aspect of, show business than I ever will be anytime soon.
Well, you can't think of it that way because that's what holds you back. I never thought I would be, but you never could say no, and you never know what the universe has in store for you. Usually, people who go through a lot have a lot coming for them it's great. So you're gonna have a lot of success coming your way. I feel it. I see it because you're very smart. You're very driven. As far as you and your mom, you just need to let that go. I'm sure you still have your moments with her and she puts you down. You need to realize that she's not in a good place in this lifetime. And this is all coming from anger from within of her. It has nothing to do with you. So I think that's what you need to focus on, just so it won't get under your skin anymore.
I put boundaries now. You know, people need to respect boundaries. It's not okay to make you feel a certain way constantly. There's a line. There's a fine line where this is done.
Exactly.
Like,
so you put your boundaries. You know where you need your space. You know how close to get and not to get. And what you do is what you've been doing. You're building relationships. You're building your family, and you're building your life. What advice do you have for those going through more or less the same situation that you've been through?
Keep your head up. Please try to analyze your situation. Analyze it. Are you in a toxic environment? Are people putting you down? Are you letting other people's thoughts control your actions? Because I did, and now I lost something that I hope to rebuild. You know, look around and see who really is in your interest, your best interest. One final thing I want to touch on is people like to say, oh, you know, I don't have the time for this, or, you know, for example, I'm not in that situation, or I don't have the tools to deal with the situation. Take it from me, from someone that, you know, literally came from the dirt. You know, I had nothing, no help, nothing, absolutely no sunshine, and somehow this flower was still able to bloom. So can you. Absolutely. You need to believe in yourself when no one believes in you, because you're your best friend. You yourself, you need to learn to love yourself, regardless of how many people hate you or see you in a certain way or wish malintentions in your life. Love yourself so much that none of that noise can even taint you, because you know what you're destined for. You know what type of person you are. So if I can do it, you can do it. There's no excuse. Please do yourself a favor and really find ways to love yourself. Research it, you know.
And there's nothing else I could say about that. It's just an amazing words to everybody out there. Thank you, Sebastian, for sharing your story. And hopefully someone out there is connecting to this story, and you're helping many people out there that are going through the same situation. Thank you for being on Pod with me. And one more thing. Don't fall off the pod.
Ready.
For more on Pod with me, check us out on our social media. On Facebook, we are Pod with me, AJA. On Instagram, Pod with me. We're also on the Apple Podcast app and Google Podcast app. Check us out there. And that's the best way to listen to Pod with me. This is Alex J. Aguiar. And until next time, don't fall off the pod.
Ready.